Join us today now as we look at the process of extension administration. The process of extension administration. At the end of this session, you should be able to understand that process as well as discuss the principles of extension administration. Also, go further to list the basic issues in extension administration. Let's look at the process of extension administration. Extension administration does not flow haphazardly, but rather follows a clearly laid down principles and approach. Usually, the process of extension administration follows a logical sequence. It starts with coordinating the decision making process. Then, after that, you move to interpret the decisions. Then, development of specific programs before communicating the program decisions, establishing control for executing the decisions. For the administration and operation of an extension service and program to be functional, effective principles and practices, policies and procedures must be in place. The general administrative structure and procedure must be adjusted to meet the needs of the farmers, the resources available, and to suit their socioeconomic conditions without failing to help them. Now, we now look at the principles of extension administration. There are basically six principles of extension administration, which we're going to discuss. The principle of agricultural extension administration are the basic guidelines administrators must use in the delivery of extension services. These principles will include one, the structure of administrative organization is established in a subordinate and superordinate hierarchy of line position. Each member of staff reports to one superior to him or her. You've heard this over and over again. Now you should be singing it like a song now. You should be singing it like a song now. Number two, effective administration occurs when the authority allocated to an individual or group of individuals is clearly defined and understood by the persons concerned. Number three, the authority assigned to an individual in an organization is commensurate to the responsibility assigned. Number four, two-way channel of communication, vertical and horizontal, must be maintained to develop desirable staff attitudes and interest in an organization. Number four, effective use of specialist knowledge in planning and implementing programs should be maintained. Then we look at the last, which is the sixth one, that an administrator should see himself as a controller of decision making process rather than the decision maker. A controller, he is there to coordinate views, not there to impose views. And then for this particular session, we want to finally consider the basic issues in extension administration. We're going to take lectures on these basic issues one after the other. The basic issues in extension administration will include the following nine issues: planning, organizing, staffing, directing, coordinating, reporting, budgeting, and budgeting, including the last but not the least, which is supervising. These are the basic issues in extension administration. Now, if you're able to list these issues, then you are set. Let's start with the concept of planning. That planning is the key function of any extension administrator. It's the process of determining in advance what should be accomplished, when, by whom, how, and at what cost. Planning the process of organizational goals and objectives will always help to ensure that goals are attained. For instance, in an open administrative process, many people or members of staff are involved in the planning and setting up of organizational objectives. However, there is the closed system. Please, I want you to please pay good attention to this. There is a closed system of administration where there is little participation by employees in planning or setting up the organizational objectives. In this case, once a decision is made by the program manager, chief executive, and board of directors, the subordinates and other employees must carry out the directives without their input into the decision. Now, generally, there are four types of planning in extension. We have the strategic plan, the tactical contingency, the managerial plan. These major types of planning are essential in extension. So let's discuss these types of planning as we round off this session. Strategic planning involves determining the basic objectives of an organization and allocating resources to their accomplishment. A strategy determines the direction in which an organization needs to move to fulfill its mission. A strategic plan acts as a roadmap for carrying out the strategy and achieving long-term results. To boost organizational performance, people must be a key part of the strategy. Now, when doing strategic planning, the organization should emphasize team planning. By involving those to be affected by the plan, the manager will see that he must have successfully built an organization which is understanding and committed. Strategic plan will involve organizational mission statements of what is to be done, strategic analysis of why it should be done, strategic formulation of where it should be done, the issue of long term objective implementation of when, and then operational plans of when and how. Let's discuss tactical planning. This is basically concerned with implementing the strategic plans and involves middle and lower management. Contingency planning anticipates possible problems or changes that may occur in the future and prepares to deal with them effectively as they arrive. Then, managerial planning will involve usually a micro level planning. It is the implementing of the strategic plan, the combining of resources to fulfill the overall objectives and missions of the extension organization. Managerial planning focuses on the activities of a specific unit and involves what needs to be done by whom, when, and at what cost. That's the end of this session, having discussed extension principles, extension planning. We'll continue the next time as we take up other issues of extension administration.